welcome to today's video. This is week 1 of the food challenge. We'll be doing another week challenge the next week, followed by a normal video, and we'll get back to challenges once in a while. So this week's challenge was based on 4 items picked by you, items that you love and you hate. Thanks so much for everyone participating in the poll. We got very interesting ingredients. So hopefully let's look out for more such challenges in the future. So coming to this week, we had 4 ingredients: ragi, jeera, biscuits and khatti meetha chutney. So we'll be making something like a dal bati churma inspired sev puri. It's like a crossbreed, but it's more healthier in the sense that we are trying to use ragi, which is rich in calcium, protein and a lot of other things. So I've prepped the dough here. We just started out. I have about 1/4 cup of ragi, 1/4 cup of rava and wheat flour put together, half of each, a little bit of hing, a little bit of salt and a little bit of chilli powder. Before we get on to the next phase, we'll be making some fresh bhuna jeera powder to add to this and to add to the flavor. So let's roast this and be. So we're back with the roasted jeera. I added a pinch of ajwain just to like bring out the taste a little bit, but that's totally optional. So I've not roasted it too much. I would say light brown on an average. So what I do is when some of them turn light brown, I kind of turn off the gas, just spread it in an even layer and let it sit for a minute or two. And this is the mixture. I'm just going to grind it roughly. We're done. 2 things that you might want to do at this point is preheat the oven to 420 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 215 degrees Celsius. And I also have a packet of Amul butter. This is 10 grams. It's salted butter, so just season accordingly. You do not want your mixture to be too salty. So I'm adding, so we had 2 tablespoons of jeera in there. I'm adding about half of the mixture. We're going to use the rest for the chai. So that's that. So in the same pan that you heated the jeera in, I'm going to put in the butter and heat it up so that I can add it to the dough. You can skimp on the butter, but I would advise against it for the most part. This was already at room temperature, which is why it's melting this easily. The pan is a little warm, so it's good use of the heat. I'm heating up a little bit of water. You would want roughly, I would say 50 ml of hot water. Hot water is really important to be added because ragi is a little low on the gluten. That's why we've added the wheat. But even rava requires like a lot of hot water. It absorbs a lot of hot water to get its elasticity. So it's important that your water is close to boiling, I would say. So you want like a breadcrumb consistency. I'm going to bring it a little closer. So if you press it together, it should be able to sit into a lump. At this point, I'm going to add about 50 ml. This is only like a ballpark, but I'm going to show you the final dough consistency, so probably you could go with that. So I mean, it's kind of okay if you have a little more water than you have in your chapati dough, for the reason that rava absorbs water pretty fast. So I mean, don't panic if too much water falls in. Marginally too much water falls in. At this point, when the dough looks roughly wet and malleable, you want to take this onto a counter and knead it really well, about like 5 minutes. Like you'll actually see the dough structure change. So probably add a little more water. So your dough should look pretty smooth. So if you have some time on your hands, let the dough rest. It's going to make a difference. Since I do not have too much time, I'm gonna start and roll it out. You wanna keep it to like the crackjack biscuits, that kind of thickness. I'll show you the final product as well so you get a better idea. I'm going to be cutting them into square/rectangle. If you wish to, you can cut them into circles. It kind of irritates me how the leftover dough has to be remodeled for me to make a lot of round sev puris. So I'm just choosing the convenient part. So once you've cut them, you would want to use a fork to poke holes in them so that you don't want them to puff too much. I have a pre-prepped baking pan which I've just put in some aluminum foil into. So I'm just going to spread this evenly, and we're going to bake this for about 12 minutes. You can remove them a little earlier if you're looking for cookie consistency. This is a little more crunchier and harder. And here we go. This goes into the oven, and we're going to prep some of the chat ingredients in the time. So I have some of the stuff pre-prepped. This requires no other change. This is just chopped onion, chopped coriander, a little bit of whisked dahi. This is Greek yogurt that I've just made it into a smooth consistency. And I have some green chutney that I had made at home earlier. And this is the khatti meethi chutney. So because we're using a lot of sweet ingredients, you would want your green chutney to be really spicy if you're that kind of a person. And these are some they're not mashed yet, steamed baby potatoes, which I'll be mashing and adding some masalas to. So I'm just going to use a fork. If you want to remove the peel, you can. So I've mashed them, and we're going to be adding the masalas to it. So we're going to add some more red chilli powder, not a lot, just for the taste. A little bit of coriander powder. A little bit of haldi. A little bit of kasuri methi. If you want, you can just toast this over the oven, over in a pan and add it. It's going to make a lot of difference. And I'm adding a little bit of black salt. You can use normal salt also if you like. And in the end, we're going to be adding the jeera powder that we made earlier. This is not crushed very finely, but the smell is incredible because it's super fresh. So I'm just going to use a spoon to bring this together. If I feel like it might fall out because I've chosen a very aptly sized container, I'm going to use my hands. If you like green moong in your chats, you can also boil that and add it to the mixture, and it's going to be healthier and also taste nicer. I am not really a green moong person, so I chose to skip it. And also, boiling the green moong takes much more time than the potato would. So that also might be another thing. And in the meanwhile, I'm also going to take my Parle G and make it into roughly small chunks because I do not want it to be powdered. And with the amount of butter or ghee or fat in it, it's just going to crumble if you just use your hands. You can also use a rolling pin or a blender if you're making larger quantities. So I think we'll need about 4 biscuits for a person's serving of the chaat. So I'm just going to break 4 biscuits into pieces. Okay guys, so this is how the chips look fresh from the oven. They're really, really hot. And I have another batch that I made and cooled already. So we're going to be using that for this batch of the chaat. So let's start with the assembly.